seek out no's. So you've probably heard this in sales, but you want to go for as many no's as possible because it's far more likely to be a no than it is a yes. First of all, so you're going to get a lot of these, and if you're aiming for them, you can make it as like a bit of a game. I mean, cold calling and prospecting at times, even for those who love it, which is rare, can be very boring. Can be very energy sapping. So if you flip it on its head, rather than going for yeses, go for nos. Make it a bit of a game. Make it as fun as possible, and yeah, just don't take it so seriously. It's not as serious as people make it out to be. But what you got to remember as well is that I know it's cliche, but every no does bring you closer to a yes. So, like even tallying those no's in like some sort of Excel spreadsheet or whatever. Again, it goes back to reframing. You're reframing the negative outcomes. So every no is bringing you closer to a yes, closer to a yes. There's actually someone on LinkedIn that I follow, and he throughout the year has actually been counting the amount of rejections he's getting, and he's having it as a game. So he's counting down to like 3,000 rejections, I think it is, for the year, and it's such a more like positive way to look at prospecting and cold calling. So as many things that you can do like that, like reframing and making it fun, making it positive, and just accepting the fact and embracing the fact that you're gonna get rejected a lot, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It will also help you as well to not sound so desperate and get rid of your commission breath, as some people has put it. It's been described that way by, I think it's Justin Michael, Kevin Casey, a few people I follow. But commission breath is such a good term because especially when you're like not doing very well in sales, you can get that like desperation sort of aura around you. And that is one of the most off-putting things that you can have as a salesperson, as a recruiter. So going for like removing that from the whole like vibe of your calls and your just general mentality of sales will help enormously, because you're no longer like desperately trying to get that meeting or desperately trying to push them towards it. You're actually, if anything, trying to sell but then unsell, because you want to be focusing on like disqualifying the people who aren't relevant, right? So if you took commission out of a sales job, you'd be very surprised at like how differently you would act on sales calls. But you'd also be surprised that because you're not trying to push people into meetings or to buy a product or whatever, you'll be so much more relaxed, and it will actually probably result in you performing better. It's really important to remember as well that even the best salespeople get rejected all the time. So even if you're like an absolutely incredible salesperson, like Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street, it's really, really important, especially when you're a beginner and you're getting a lot of rejections and you're still trying to figure this out, that even the best salespeople that you follow online are getting rejected tons every single day, every single week. It's just part of the game of sales. It's just part of the game of prospecting. And yes, absolutely, can you get a lot better for sure, but even the best who have spent years honing their craft, spent thousands of education, read all the sales books, practiced, have got the best mindset, you're still going to get rejected all the time. So the quicker you embrace that and accept that, the better. This is something you need to remind yourself of very regularly. I feel like people know it, but they don't internalize it, and then they almost forget at times, especially when you're chasing targets, trying to make commission, etc. But it's very important to remember that you are a consultant and a problem solver. You are literally called a recruitment consultant, right? That's the title of a recruiter. But so many recruiters slip into this really desperate and subservient mindset of basically order takers. And when you have that sort of mindset, it bleeds into your prospecting as well. So you don't have that self-worth. You don't feel like you're important. You just constantly feel like you're disturbing people, right? And that's what goes back to, cold calling, disturbing strangers, like interrupting people, that sort of thing. It's really important that you work on your mindset and your self-worth and how you perceive yourself. Recruiters yes, some people might find, out receiving recruitment messages annoying. They do until, you have an amazing candidate for a job they're really struggling with, or they're looking for a job, and suddenly they love recruiters. And you got to remember that as a recruiter and as a recruitment agency, if you're a business development person working for a recruitment agency and you're not actually doing the sourcing, the service you provide is so important. It's vital to businesses. Recruitment is one of the most vital skills and services in the world, and we saw that during COVID. When all the recruiters got let go or whatever, everyone realized how important recruiters are. And it does come down to, do you believe in what you sell or do? And this course will, of course, help you build value where you might not have value. So if you didn't feel like you had a good enough offering or enough value in your offering, you will now. But you got to remember as well that most won't want what you offer, at least right now. And the ones that do, you're completely making their day. There's a marketing statistic that I learned this year, and it's that around 4% of your market are ready to buy, and the rest aren't right now. And that's really important to remember, the fact, especially when you get rejected all the time, that even the best companies with the biggest brands, their target market right now, today, probably isn't ready to buy. 96% isn't ready to buy right now. They're not rejecting you, and this is something that's really important to remember. So they're not rejecting you as a person. You can't take it personally. You need to make that mindset shift. It's really, really important, not only for your short-term success in sales and recruitment, but for your long-term success as well, so you don't burn out. It's a very, very important mindset that is probably worth sticking on a morning affirmation map or something, because it's sales is one of those jobs, and recruitment is one of those jobs where you get rejected so often that sometimes you can take it personally, but you really shouldn't. It's really not about you. It's about the situation. It's about the service, but it's not about you specifically, and it's really, really important to remember that.